He is Nucleus to our glorified Adam, and Phantom Pain on Revelation's ominous Eve. He is Circular Logic and Atlas, a ringmaster, still present after the audience dismissal. While jumping through hoops, you may ask one day, where is he? He is within the fabric of your knowledge. He is Columbus Myth.
Fluid is a term used here in the private district among educators, youth, and social workers most of all. Fluid is malleable, changeable. It flows freely, rarely distinguishing one part from another. Fluid is the magic added to connect mechanical finishes to children abandoned by the public district and sent to the private district for a cyborg upbringing purely for the public district's entertainment. Last we left you with Paul in Fluid, the 6th episode in Columbus Myth. Today we show you Einstein's point of view and his reluctance to change programs for fear that all his work in mythology would be forgotten. Mythology is his legacy. He's worked so hard to plant mythology in solid ground. Today we follow Einstein in creating matter, the 7th episode of Columbus Myth.
We start a few moments before Paul visits Einstein to investigate. Just a few moments prior to that, Castor paid Einstein a visit. Because image is now illegal, Castor thinks that running mythology is dangerous.
He thinks creating pictures of so many people could backfire if those pictures were deleted. Castor doesn't want an entire city vanishing like Columbus
And Linda.
after their avatars were deleted. So he tells Einstein that mythology will need to be shut down. He will have to change their program over to science, a much safer program that does not allow for such glitches to happen.
To science? Kosho hasn't run on science since the age of...
Yes, and now that age has returned, it's only logical we prepare our technology for the shift.
But all of my work has gone into mythology.
Can't you save your work? Or sell it? I'm sure some other establishment in the private district will have a use for your materials.
I can't save or sell a program. Not this program. Mythology needs solid ground to conduct an audience. I need printers.
Well, no problem. I'll order printers.
No, printers. 3D printers. 3D printers are people who are skilled in keeping the status quo. They think they're not creative, but they are. And they're powerful. They just don't realize that they're using their creativity to produce someone else's design. Creatives usually have a hard time keeping the status quo. That's why they're viewed as destructive. But creatives don't have that skill that I need. I need someone who isn't like you. The complete opposite of you. All you want to do around here is change what's been working for centuries. I need someone who wants to keep tradition. I need for my work in mythology to matter.
Then take it to the public. I'm sure you'll figure something out.
You don't understand. The machine is mass consciousness.
Castor left the room and left Einstein and his machine there alone.
I guess it's just you and me. So I'll have to shut you down. Replace you with a new program. Who does Castor think he is? Ringmaster or not, it isn't right that he's changing everything around here. The machine is the soul of the city. This whole system has been running on mythology since its establishment. He wants to change the science. What about my work? My legacy?
The door opens. This time it's Paul. Funny how Einstein needed the complete foil of Castor. And the next second, Paul appears. Paul's here to question Einstein about Digit's disappearance. Paul questions Einstein.
So, Linda's murder. Why don't we start there?
Oh, terrible. Have you come any closer to finding out who could have killed such a beautiful soul?
Haven't got a clue. Where were you the night of the murder?
Well, I was here.
Here? In your lab? What were you working on?
What I'm always working on. A program called Mythology. It's Kosho's brain. I can imagine switching over to science. All my work is in mythology.
Who's making you switch programs?
Oh, it comes with the territory now that image is legal. Maybe it's selfish, but I was just hoping generations to come would use my work and know my contributions.
What's this?
Careful with that. It's fluid. It's what we use to connect rejected public orphans to their mechanical finishes.
You know, I envy creative people. We all do, out in the public district. Most of us are not creative. If I were to say, I don't believe that, to you, I wouldn't progress to the next level. Whether that's school or work or whatever. Creativity is considered to be destructive, so I guess creativity was bred out of us.
Or maybe all of your creative citizens were abandoned and sent to us, for us to improve them with mechanical finishes. Make them professional freaks that your district has the privilege to sit back and envy. You know, you say you're not creative. I was actually looking for just the person.
Were you?
Sit back.
What are you doing? Einstein pulls out a chair, takes Paul's hat, and places a mechanical crown around his head.
I won't add fluid, so this will be temporary. Tell me, do you have any flaws?
I'm a public citizen. I don't believe I do.
Of course. Well, you say you want to be creative. Why don't we give you a device that will do just that for you? It'll fit around your head, like so.
Okay.
There. Now, just relax. Talk to me.
Okay. Well, I don't know what to say. I do have a few more questions for you.
Good. Talk to me.
Mona, the teacher here at Kosho, who is also from the public district, told me she believes Digits the Clown could be haunting the machine.
Digits. Haunting.
I hadn't noticed he'd gone missing either, until Mona pointed out that we haven't seen him in a while. You taught Digits?
He knows everything I do. He was my assistant before Justin.
He doesn't work with you anymore?
Hardly ever. When did I last see Dear Digits?
You haven't seen him lately?
He's independent, quiet. He's like that. You won't notice him until he decides to make himself known.
Mona said there's an icon that bears a striking resemblance to him. She said that your daughter, Dido, is being haunted by Linda. Is there a chance that cyborg souls remain attached to their finishes?
No. Cyborg souls are not attached to their finishes. They're attached to images, which is why images were illegal.
Paul falls asleep as he's connected to the mechanical crown finish.
Paul? You see that? You're connected. You'll sleep for a few minutes before the finish has merged with your imagination. Then you'll have what you want. Creativity is what your mind tells your body to do, Paul. That's all it is. Even the public district is creative. They just operate on someone else's creative program. And all of them operating on this program are like 3D printers, creating their own reality. And I wanted my program to remain as the creative system that everyone around here would follow for generations to come. But Castor had to destroy my legacy. I was looking for someone like you. Someone I could plant my material into. My creativity will have to be saved within you, Paul.
Einstein adds fluid to Paul's device. There's a knock at the door.
Whose creativity are you under? Just a minute.
Einstein opens the door. It's Dido.
Hey, Dad, What's Paul doing here?
He's asking me some questions about Linda.
Oh, well, I don't want to disturb you.
He said you were haunted by her.
Wow. News travels fast.
You know there isn't anything spooky happening with my design. It's simple, honey. The soul ascends to the machine if there is an avatar of that person saved in the machine because the soul mistakes the image for a body. But no one is haunting you. That isn't possible. I didn't design anything that would enable a soul to act creatively. You don't have to worry. I have this entire program under control.
So I won't have any ability to act after I die?
What?
My image is everywhere. I'm the new star of Kosho, and Castor brought Image back.
You're human. It's fluid that connects body and program. You never had to use it because you were born here. You're going to a place your father couldn't come close to understanding, dear. Don't worry about where you're going. It will be to heaven, of course. You're human. You won't be stuck in this program.
But the others. Justin. You and Mom.
Castor brought Image back, so everyone will have some kind of image saved. I'll have to switch programs. He just told me this morning. This new program I have to use will be much safer.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Dido thinks it's good that Castor is making Einstein switch to science. Switching to science could possibly save all of her friends from being stuck in mythology for eternity. But if mythology is thrown out and forgotten about, his work will not survive to see future generations. Einstein refocuses on Paul. Dido leaves her father to continue his work. Einstein runs over to Paul to check if he's all right.
Paul.
Paul looks as though he's waking up. His eyes open, but he doesn't move. Einstein takes a look at his monitor and sees something he didn't expect. Wave signals from Paul's brain indicate that Paul is talking to someone. He saw this before and assumed that Paul was hallucinating. But as Einstein listened closely through the static, he could make out a conversation.
No, she can't see you, but she can hear me. And she saw me too. But you know this? This is why you came to Einstein to begin with.
What? Who is that? How do they know my name? Who is that?
To investigate my disappearance. Because Mona saw me. Just now.
But this already happened.
Einstein hears Digits talking to Paul, but he doesn't recognize Digits' voice. Digit never spoke when he was in flesh. Einstein takes a moment to think about what he just heard. Two voices. He considers that Paul, Mona, Dido, and Castor might have a point. He knew that the glitch in the program was killing cyborgs who were photographed. He knew that the souls of those killed were sent to the machine because the soul mistook the picture for a real body. But he didn't think that the soul could act inside of mythology once they were saved to the program.
Ethical rules were part of the program put in place to prevent singularity. It was meant to prevent the machine from taking over. Castor wants to bring back Image in order to gain more money. Trust for the private. But in doing so, he put everyone in danger of singularity.
The laws of normal space-time do not occur in singularity. Einstein realizes that that is what has happened. Linda could be haunting Dido after all. Einstein hears Castor coming, so he hides Paul. Castor walks in.
What's happening?
Oh, hi. Paul, Mona, and Dido all think there's something spooky happening with my program. After some tests, I think they may have a point. You may have a point.
Einstein, I told you to shut mythology down. We need to run science.
I can't just throw it all out. We don't know for sure if mythology is haunted.
You can't tell it's haunted until someone actually sees a ghost, like your daughter. Maybe the ghosts exist when you know they're there. Maybe the ghosts only haunt certain people. And because those ghosts haunt certain people, like your daughter, people like Dido are the only ones who can see them.
I didn't create a program that creates one form of matter if you're looking at it, and another if you turn your back. My mythology is always the same. Does the moon cease to exist if you're not looking at it? This is not my design.
But if an avatar is deleted, that person dies.
As long as they are a cyborg, yes.
You have to see how dangerous your program is.
Maybe I can make some adjustments.
Einstein, switch over to science. Kosho will no longer run off such a dangerous program now that our rules have changed. We can't put our people at risk.
Castor monitors as Einstein takes necessary actions to change Kosho's program from mythology to science.
Good work. It's a new day. I can't wait to see how things around here will change.
Einstein has done it. He's changed the program from mythology to science. But Paul is still hidden away with his finish attached. Will science be downloaded into Paul's consciousness instead of mythology? Find out in part 2 of Creating Matter, the 7th episode of Columbus Myth. Castor has made Einstein switch from mythology to science. Einstein has gone through the transition and completed Castor's request. Einstein wanted to download mythology into Paul's consciousness before the switch, but Castor made him change to science before Einstein had a chance to. Paul's still asleep and connected to his mechanical finish. Find out what happens next in part 2 of Creating Matter, the 7th episode of Columbus Myth.
Where am I? Digits?
Listen. Paul, listen to me.
What?
This machine, the very walls around us, the entire city in which we live, is a working model of what the ancients called heaven or hell. We're not quite sure what it feels like. No one has ever communicated with the soul who has crossed over into private, which is why this is so bizarre. But I believe you. Dido must have been right. Linda was haunting her when mythology was running. It doesn't matter now. I've changed our program to science.
I was inside? Inside the machine?
Yes. Well, you wanted to be more creative, and now you are. You're cyborg now, and you will be more creative with the crown finish I've installed in you. But you'll be connected to science, not mythology where you saw digits.
What?
Digits and whoever else is stuck in mythology will be gone indefinitely. They're gone.
Later, Einstein talks with his wife, Goose. His wife has always supported him. She's a strong believer in mythology. He wants to break this news to his wife himself.
Well, I wanted my work to continue. I wanted my story to continue. But without mythology running, my contributions will no longer have meaning. If I apply my same contributions to science, that new program will misread my formulas. Science will interpret my formulas as something nonsensical. I'll have to start over using science's specific language. Even though each formula will be exactly the same, I'll need to use the specific code for science to rewrite everything.
Goose listens to her husband. She thinks to herself,
Poor thing. All of his work, all his expectations, his hopes for the future, gone by simply changing out one system for another. I have faith that he can rewrite his formulas into science, and I hope not too much will be lost in translation. When I have strong hopes like this, I meditate on them. Meditation usually turns my finish on to connect with the machine when mythology was our program. I wonder if science will connect me to the machine in the same way.
she meditates. Her finish connects to the machine in the same way it always has. Goose connects to the new program to meditate, and she doesn't detect a change. You just heard Creating Matter, the 7th episode of Columbus Myth, where we learned that matter is created by looking at it. We learned that Linda only haunts those who are oppressed because people like Dido, who are oppressed in the same way as Linda, are the only people who can see the same reality as Linda. Their experience creates matter that other people cannot see unless they look at it. Einstein wanted to make Paul his 3D printer, a cyborg who creates reality from the program saved within him. But Einstein believes his program, mythology, has switched to science, and all his work is lost. Follow what's really happening inside the machine in Errors of Perception, the 8th episode of Columbus Myth. You've just heard Creating Matter, the 7th episode of Columbus Myth, written and produced by Kendra Dobson, recorded by John Rockwitz, sound mixed by Kayla Chappelle. Starring Steven Simmons and Kendra Dobson as the announcer, Adam Martinez as Einstein, Aslan Hollier as Castor, Justin Phillips and Billy Parks as Paul, Kendra Dobson as Dido, Steven Simmons as Digits, and Ruby Epkins as Goose.